But we are here. We've got sisters dropping in. More sisters will continue to drop in. This is totally free flow. And okay. Hi, April. Hi, Heather. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Jenny. There's others watching on Facebook Live. You all are doing all of your things, being of service, kiddos, businesses, work, all of the things. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and I will just continue to watch the waiting room, also check Facebook Live because there's quite a few sisters tuning in there. And I also want to invite you. I remember I was on a collaborative, experience with April, and I believe she had COVID or she was coming off COVID. She had her camera off, and then I made the invitation just to come in with your face, even only if it's temporarily, because there's power in the sacred witnessing. So I didn't mean to put you on the spot, April, but if you wanted to just express your experience there of coming off camera, even in the middle of being sick.
No, I think it was just wanting to be seen, and I wanted you to see in my face reflecting back to you how happy I was to be there, because I know how that feels on the other end as well. So I was happy to do it.
Yay, thank you. Yes, so we're going to just drop into our bodies for a moment. This is being recorded. This is streamed into the Facebook group. So we'll get into some of the safety, values of this community and the sovereignty of choice. I see some clients, I see some soul sisters, new faces, some that have just connected with me via email. So I just want to first thank you for being here. All right, so looks like Heather's pulled over. If you're driving, if you're doing something that requires your attention, this is how we can learn to be in presence while doing a task. Right? So we can be in presence while driving. We can be in presence while connected in conversation with another human, right? It doesn't mean that we have to stop what we're doing. Of course, that can be part of it, but this is the key. So if you're familiar with my world, you know that we drop in before we do anything. So if you feel safe to close your eyes, I invite you to do so. And just put your hands on your body for a moment. Closing our eyes, right? It helps us to eliminate any distractions if we're in a space to be able to do so. Because our eyes are sensing things, right? All of our senses are sensing things all of the time. Is this safe? Is this not safe? Do I want to go here or go there? So just closing the eyes for a moment helps us to connect back to center. Also, putting our hands on our body also helps ritualize this. I am here in this body at this moment, in this location, in this present experience. So we're signaling to the body we can relax. So just allowing yourself to relax in that. Knowing that exactly as you are is perfect. Sometimes I do these trainings in my bathrobe with no makeup on. Sometimes I feel excited to put on some makeup and get dressed up. It's all welcome here. And as you're starting to do this, if you can start deepening the breath a bit, because once we do this, we let the nervous system know that we can relax deeper into ourselves. So full breaths in and just exhaling out the mouth, right? We're in the middle of our day for many of us with lots of responsibilities. So sighing out our day. You can also start to shake the body a little bit. You can even start to just bounce. You can start to flick the wrists and just kind of shake, letting all of the cells in the body know, I'm here. Shaking off what is not yours in this moment. So any of the responsibilities, anything that you have to do once we get off of here, maybe you got into a little scuffle with your partner or with your kiddos, or something's really tearing at you right now. Maybe somebody just sent you a text message that created an emotional charge within your body, can you just be like, okay, you're there, but it's okay. I can let you be in my awareness, but just not give you too much attention. So all of this is really guideposts, right? I don't know what your body needs. You are the only one that knows this. So trying it on, being curious, opening your heart. So continuing to deepen the breath. I also want us to just take another deep breath in. Feel all of that aliveness in your entire vessel, all of this life force, the breath of life running through your body, feeling your heart pumping, blood through your veins. And I just want you to sigh everything out with sound. Shaking your head. Yes, all of it. You know, the yogic practice of meditation was presented by man. So there's nothing wrong with it, but it's sometimes easier for us women to move before we just sit. To move the energy, especially as our day increases by the end of the evening, like just creating movement in order to be in stillness is supportive. Again, I do this while I'm driving. Heather, I would love to know, you know, just start to notice when you're driving how you feel like your entire womb space tenses up. Like I notice when I'm driving, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so contracted, right? Because our nervous system is on, I don't want someone to hit me, right? I don't want to hit someone else. I want to get to this point safely. So this is what we're cultivating here. So I would love in the chat, and then we'll have plenty of opportunities to share. I think April said she's got 20 minutes, so we'll be sure to go with her first if she has any questions coming through. But just put in the chat. Actually, first, I would like us to come off mute and just say hello and put our voices into the container just to know that we're not alone. Some of you are listening and, you know, maybe just listening to audio. So come off mute, say hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Yay.
Hi there. Hello.
Yeah, and spend a moment just witnessing and looking into the eyes of these other beautiful souls who chose to be here. No accident. This is all divinely orchestrated. There's a reason why we all came here together today. So once we're able to connect to our hearts, this is Love Week. Yesterday was Love Day, February 14th. And regardless of how you feel about this holiday, there's focality. And that what that means is that we have, no matter what level of consciousness we're at, we have a lot of people thinking about love, being in gratitude, celebrating, opening their hearts, being spontaneous. Yesterday, my husband and I went on a bike ride, and we hadn't done that in several months. And we're like, why don't we do this more when we get done with our workday? Right? Being in curiosity, opening our hearts. So we're in the portal of the entire collective thinking about love, right? Being with our kiddos. So we get to leverage that. When I initially set up this call, which I've actually never done this before, and it was very intuitively guided, I'm like, oh, this is why this is the date, because people are in the resonance. If you're on this call, you're already growth oriented, right? You're already very much on this quest of homecoming. And it's helpful when the rest of the world is like, huh, that was really fun yesterday. I want to do more of that. I want to have more date nights. I want to just randomly do a nice gesture for someone, right? People, when we have these certain, right? It's the same thing with like numerology dates, right? 22222. It's more about you have a large mass of people that are energetically connecting to their hearts, connecting to the collective, and being of service in this way. So I'd love for you to drop in the chat. Why did you come here today? It could be a word. It could be a sentence. It could be an I don't know. That's also an answer. Why did you decide to show up here today? Curiosity. Yes, yes, yes. Wow. Curiosity. Connection. I love it. Beautiful. So I love curiosity because when we're in curiosity, we open ourselves up to miracles and we surprise ourselves. Grounding. Beautiful. Yes. All of this is so important. And we often think that we're alone because nobody has our journey. Nobody has our story. Nobody has this body. Nobody has these experiences. Yet we all have the same wounds. We all know what it feels like to feel abandoned. We all know what it feels like to have heartbreak. We all know what it feels like to have our Valentine crush our hearts, or a boyfriend break up with us, or whatever it is, or break up with someone else, or end a relationship, right? We know what it's like in the body when we experience hurt, right? So everybody here, you know, curiosity, connection, grounding, just wanted to be here. I miss you, right? Like I miss this. Some of you are past clients in group containers and miss that, right? Because we don't always get that in a world that's very siloed and hierarchical. This is important. So we start to realize, oh yes, I don't have Jenny's life. I don't have Wanda's life. I don't have April's life, Tara's life, right? Yet, once we start to come together and ask questions, we recognize that it may not be specifically, like, okay, I don't know that exactly, but I know that feeling. And this is how we learn to walk each other home. So this is not about me telling you what to do or being a teacher. This is about us co-creating an environment of connection, of curiosity, of learning how to be in our bodies, of being okay with being messy. It's part of curiosity, knowing that you're going to get it wrong sometimes. And that's the humanness of this experience. So I want you to just not attach to what you came here for today. And maybe you thought you were brave and you were going to ask your question and then you got shy. Just trust that the medicine is here for you. Can you just do that? Can you just allow what gets to come through to come through? And so safety, you're in your sovereignty here. So some of you may want to keep your cameras off. Again, I am in such a space of service that you know that this is being recorded and live streamed. Honestly, it's best if we can leave our cameras on, but of course I trust and you trust. And so if you want to private message me a comment in the chat, if you want to just share it to everyone in the chat, if you just want to come in with your voice, it's completely up to you. Because what I love about when we are honest about where we're at in our journeys and we actually show up as who we are in our fullness, we actually get out of the victimization and the story of what we're in, and we can keep it more high level, right? It's like, yes, we all know that sometimes it's just really frustrating and life is hard, right? And we're like, oh, I don't want to be here right now. So just to be like, yeah, I'm feeling this and this, right? It's more of like, okay, this is the resonance that I'm in, and this is what I'm committed to moving through and exploring, even though right now, I don't know what that looks like. So that's what surrender is, which leads us into acceptance. Is, can you accept that whatever you are in your life right now that you don't like and you don't want and you don't understand, can you be willing to get curious as to why this is co-created in your life, even if you don't know how to get out of it yet? If you can leave here today with that piece of just exploring, I promise your world will change in the most amazing way. Because the acceptance is a piece that so many of us miss. Is, I chose this. I don't know why. I don't know how the heck I'm going to get out of it, but I chose this. My soul chose this in this body to be able to learn, to grow, to transform, and to use that as a beacon of light and hope for others. That's all we're doing here. So there's a theme here today. I believe Alva might be the only one that's seen this. I played this at our closing circle. I've been connecting a lot with the energy of Princess Diana. And there's a short clip where she talks about being the queen of people's hearts. So we're gonna tune into that. And right, we've already started to drop in. We've started to connect with ourselves. We've started to create presence. We've started to connect with the other sisters here, whether you know each other or not. And we're going to continue to drop in with our connection with source. Source is consciousness, God consciousness, universal intelligence. It's all semantics. If you're here and you're in my world, you likely believe that you're not just here, and when you leave, you're done. So whatever, it could be love, right? Let's call it love since we're in Love Week. So I'm going to share my screen and, oh, will it let me do that? Gotta love tech. I think it should work. So can you see that first of all? So hopefully this. So I'm not sharing my computer sound. So let me know if you can hear this right off the bat. There we go. Can you hear that? I'm starting it over. Okay, ready? Here we go. He says, do you think you will ever be queen?
You will ever be queen?
No, I don't. No.
Why do you think that?
I'd like to be a queen of people's hearts, in people's hearts. But I don't see myself being queen of this country. I don't think many people would want me to be queen. Actually, when I say many people, I mean the establishment that I'm married into, because they've decided that I'm a non-starter.
Why do you think they've decided that?
Because I do things differently. Because I don't go by a rule book. Because I lead from the heart, not the head. And albeit that's got me into trouble in my work, I understand that. But someone's got to go out there and love people and show it.
And do you think that because of the way you behave, that's precluded you effectively from becoming queen?
Yes, well, not precluded me, I wouldn't say that. I just don't think I have as many supporters in that environment than I did.
You mean within the royal household?
Mm-hmm. They see me as a threat of some kind. And I'm here to do good. I'm not a destructive person.
Why do they see you as a threat?
I think every strong woman in history has had to walk down a similar path. And I think it's the strength that causes the confusion and the fear. Why is she strong? Where does she get it from? Where is she taking it? Where is she going to use it? Why do the public still support her? When I say public, you're going into an engagement and there's a great many people there.
Seen that 1,000 times and I get emotional every time. Right? Like the legacy that this beautiful being, right? I remember where I was when she transitioned, right? It's like we remember those moments, we remember the feeling and the legacy. Yes, Tara says she is so genuine because there's a relatability. And it takes courage to leave something like that and to speak up about something like that. Which is why these connected containers are so powerful and needed, because when we try to do this alone, we get trampled on. We shut ourselves down, or we allow those who don't understand, those who are afraid, right? Because we really just demonize what we don't understand. We shut down what we don't understand. It's out of fear. And so through the curiosity, which many of you talked about, that then allows us to be in our courage and to begin showing up just like you are here today, which then allows for compassion because people are doing the best that they can at their level of consciousness. So we actually need to transcend the level of consciousness in order to be able to create solutions. And the way that we do that is through no longer being at war with ourselves. That's it. If everybody on this planet could just do that, we would all be liberated. And I recognize that that's a tall order, but when you start to be okay with that and accept that, then you stop feeling the weight of the world of everything else happening on the planet. So it seems selfish at first, right? If I just focus on me, but you see the difference, you feel the difference. So this is about being the queen of people's hearts. This is what we're moving into. It's about being bold, being courageous, doing the hard things. Standing up for what we believe in, knowing that not everybody's going to like it. But I promise you, the more that you do this, you're going to continue to find the people who resonate. And many of you, you know, just when I'm like doing my podcast and sometimes I think I'm talking to myself, I get an email from one of you like, oh my gosh. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not just talking to my computer. There's people here and you all are doing that for other people. So we're going to open this up now, right? Of course, this is it. It's about leading from the heart, which has been shut down for many, many generations. And this is why it's so scary, because a woman in her power, in her heart, connected to her sovereignty, can be scary. So it's not about gender though, but this is where it starts. So we're in a lot of reversals right now. So it's not to say that women are taking over the world. It's that, yeah, we get to meet our male counterparts. We get to balance the poles of the feminine, the masculine within every being on this planet, and recognize that we have got to be in our hearts first if we want to move forward as a collective and create solutions. And then we move from wisdom, which is internal, not knowledge, which is external. So I'll start with you, April. Do you have any questions? Do you have any shares before you jump off? And then anybody that truly wants to come off mute, it's a conversation.
I'll be brief because I actually really do have another meeting at 2:30. But I'm just I'm sitting with a lot of unclarity, just not feeling clear about where I'm headed, and that just leaves me feeling like a feel of dread every time I wake up in the morning, and I'm not comfortable with that. Someone where I'm usually someone who operates from a very open heart place, and I'm feeling very constricted in my heart, and that feels not as aligned as I am usually. And so yeah, I'm just still trying to figure out and really praying and opening myself up to getting some information and guidance, as opposed to like, what is my next step? If I know this is not how I want to be right now and what I want to be doing, and I'm lucky to have work that I really enjoy, but I've been doing it for a long time and I'm ready to move into something different. And there's a part of me that knows that I have a tendency to self-sabotage, you know, especially when it comes to stepping into my power, stepping into what I think I've come here to do, but doubting my voice, doubting my ability to deliver it in a way that touches people's hearts, or that is clear enough for people to understand. So I'm sorry that I have to jump off, but I do have to make this other meeting, and I'm sad that I have to leave. How long is this going for, Lindsay? Is it for an hour, or is it like an hour and a half?
It's scheduled for an hour, and we'll see. We'll see how things are rocking and rolling. And you can always come back to the live stream, and because I will answer. I will answer. Well, first, before April jumps off to her next meeting, who can relate to April? Who has been there? Who is there right now? Right. So just know that I'm in that all the time, and that's what we are going to. That's what I'll answer, and then you can come back and receive it from this. Maybe you get to be on that call before you receive some of the intuitive wisdom that's coming through, but you are not alone. And this is the biggest piece is, oh, this just means that things are shifting, and what is moving in your life is the divine showing you that you get to expand your business, that you get to shift, that you get to up level. And it's in that spaciousness that, you know, the answers start to come through. So just be gentle with yourself and patient, my love.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the piece that I really, and, you know, for some of you who have worked with me intimately, you know this, like, that never stops. And we have been modeled by leadership everywhere, even in the spiritual world, that it does stop. And it's not true, right? That like we've achieved this level of enlightenment, and all of a sudden I don't feel lack of clarity anymore. And all of a sudden I never wake up feeling bouts of anxiousness, and I don't have confusion. And it's bullshit. It's utter bullshit. It's marketing. It's facade, it's ego, it's whatever, it's wounds, and we all do it, and we all have it. And it's been very clear to me that the leadership that is, right, being a queen and king of people's hearts, right, again, this is not gender specific, is the relatability. So I have all of that April just said I experience all the time. I'm actually in I'm in a forward momentum, but I'm in actually a lot of lack of clarity right now with my business model. And I've shared that intimately with my clients too, because I'm evolving. So of course my business is evolving. It will always evolve. We are not robots. We get to evolve with our businesses. We get to evolve with our families. We get to evolve with everything that we touch in our lives. So the first piece is, again, can we just allow the lack of clarity to be what it is, so that we can then start to accept, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So that we can create enough space to allow for the alchemy to happen, which is the divine is always seeking us. Therefore, you will get your answer. As long as you continue to show up, as long as you continue to say yes, you will get your answer. So this is part of that piece that we're circling back to at the beginning, right? That we're not in control here. That's what 2020 illuminated for the collective. We never were in control. So this is about getting out of our own way to be a vessel of love, to be a channel for the divine, to be in our hearts, to love, to have compassion, to not be afraid. And that comes with just so much patience and grace and practice. And what I can promise you is that I don't have all of the answers, but I know that I feel those resonances, but I don't stay in them for very long anymore. That's the difference. So whenever I feel alone, I'm like, oh yeah, because I'm not connected with my divinity. I've disconnected myself from source. I've left my body momentarily. Therefore, of course, I feel alone. And then I pull out my spiritual tools and I drop back in and I remember who the fuck I am. And that's it. And who the fuck I am is also like very much in my, I'm nervous. I still get all of that. I get the jitters, like, oh my gosh, right? And then what did I do? I laid in the hammock before this. I danced around. I meditated. I breathed. I connected to my wholeness. And I just said, whoever gets to come to this beautiful circle, it's all divinely orchestrated. And as long as I'm being of service to the greater collective, that's all that matters. That is success to me. whether it's received, whether it's not, whether nobody shows up, whether 500 people show up, it doesn't matter. My success is not the comments or the likes or the feedback. It's as long as I am in my body and I am myself and I'm being in integrity, that is success. It's an internal game. So it's like, can we go light while going deep? That's it. Like, can we just, take the load off a bit? Does anybody else have any questions that they want to share related to April's share, related to anything?
Hi there. I don't even know if you can see me. I have no makeup on. I've been moving. Yeah, I am in a new spacious place. The last 6 months, both parents have died, gone through custody, moved across the country. I sold my house, and I'm finishing the last part of storage now. And so I am, usually when God has done something in my life, it's all been, I wouldn't say not caused all of this, but it's been, a lot happens in a small amount of time. And so I am in a new spacious place and just now getting to breathe and looking to see, there's some stuff on my heart, and just really trying to press in, feel my feelings, not, jump ahead. But I have always thrived with structure, and I'm in a very spacious place without any structure, and where anything is possible. And so I am a little disoriented and trying to, discern my next step without being anxious or, not having that structure, of having to create it from the inside out. So I don't know if that resonates with anybody or speak into it. I am welcome to any kind of wisdom or encouragement.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so I'll share first. And since maybe somebody else has some support. And again, right, we're not like fixing anyone. We're just offering like, hey, this supports me. Who can relate to Heather? Yeah, Alva shared it as well. I think last year, I had two separate dark nights of the soul, as I like to call them, initiations. We can call them whatever we want. And I also had a lot of momentum. So there was several winters that I had last year, several times of integration. And the first piece again is the allowance, right? Because when we're used to a certain way of being that supported us, when we begin to dissolve that and dismantle it, it can be very, exactly as you said. What was the word that you used? Disorienting. So there's the part of us that's afraid, that's calling it disorientation. Can we allow that and welcome that aspect of ourselves? And then can we call in that part of you, right? Spirit, higher self, God, the divine. Can we call that part of you that is truly playing in possibility? Because that's really what it is. You've spent a lot of time, right? Again, through the support of your spirit team to truly make a lot of life changes. So many of us have gone through many life changes, right? You've had loved ones leave this earth plane, you've had moves, you have kiddos, you've left partners. I mean, this is a lot of transition at one time. And all that I can say to that is that just means that you signed up for greatness on the other side of that. And I know that you feel that. And so it's actually a very similar answer to April's. There's a part of us that doesn't want to sit in the liminal space, in the fertile void, in the space between the exhale and the inhale, because that's where you are. If we just kept breathing in we would eventually probably self-combust, I would imagine, right? We need that. So it's beautiful because intuitively I was connecting with your heart, right? But right before you said, I just get to feel my feelings, you've been holding it together for so many people in your life that you actually just get to receive from yourself, and you get to be okay with that. And when you go in your coping mechanisms of wanting to like have the structure and to like just push past, right? To be strong, just notice it. And then continue to choose like, okay, I see this. Okay, but I'm going to come back to space. Okay, I see this, but I'm going to give myself a bath today. Okay, I see this, but I'm going to go take a walk. Okay, I see this, but I think I just want to cry in a corner for 30 minutes and shut my door. You know, that's really it. So you know it. This is the key. It's just reflecting back to you what you already know is you've shifted a lot. You've removed a lot of the density, a lot of what is not in your highest potentiality. And now you get to be be there for you. And then what happens is we start to know what's next. It starts to show us, it reveals itself to us. So I know what you all are going through. I know how hard it's like, yeah, it's easier said than done to say, just be in it. But because everywhere around us, we are shown, don't be in it. Watch this thing, do this thing, come over here. And so can you not be attached, right? Can you be committed to like, yes, I get to give myself this gift and not be attached to how long it takes to dissolve that old paradigm of needing the structure and needing to have it all together all of the time. Because what starts to happen is when we're operating from a model that is very structured and very, right, cerebral and very much about to-dos and doing and tasks and crossing things off and just, right, nervous system heightened all the time. What happens is God, consciousness, brings us, which very abruptly brought you into a space of spaciousness, right? It was like, oh, we're just going to pull the whole rug out from underneath Heather. And we're just going to like, it's not gradual. It's like, we're just going to do it all at once. And for some, it's gradual. For some, it's a slow drip. For some, it's more catastrophic. And it depends on where you're at in your journey. And it depends what you sign up for. So once we go from that model, we kind of get shown the complete opposite edge of that layer of consciousness, right? So we're going to go from all the way structured to now putting Heather in what I like to call the amoeba state, which is, I don't know who I am without this life. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I've never been here before. So when we're in it, it's not fun. But the invitation is to go back to those moments, right, where we know, I've been here before, because I promise you, you have been here before. May not be to the same degree, but you've been here before. And you have evidence of, okay, and look what happened. Look what I created for myself. Look at the transformation that came through. And that's all that life is. It's a sequence of exactly that, whether it's small or whether it's more paramount. I would say for you, Heather, right? That's a lot on your nervous system. So.
Well, and I do have to say, back in May, I was at the beach praying, and I really felt like the Spirit was speaking that, to let go of everything and to burn the dross. And so that's, kind of the kickoff of all of that. And I took I did 30 days and then 60 days of just decluttering my body. I intentionally went to prepare for it. And back in August 21, I had a dream that woke me up vividly, that I remember being in this structure and talking to somebody and walking to the edge and there being in a bright light and spaciousness. And the person said, I'm going to show you something. and I woke up. So, I mean, I know that I know I'm where I'm supposed to be, but I'm still kind of waiting for that next,
Yeah.
Just breathing.
Yeah. Gosh, isn't that fun? It's like, gotta show you something. And then the divine's like, just kidding. We're going to see how long you can be in the liminal space for, right? It's all here for us. So you're doing a beautiful job. And I would say, do your best to be excited about the spaciousness, because things are really going to start speeding up. I would say March, end of March, early April. So, oftentimes when we're in the chaos, we're like, gosh, I just want a break. And then when we're in the break, we're like, I can't sit still. So I would say, you've got this. And I witness you. And I say this to Aileen all the time, like, it just means that there's more service here for you. It just means that there's more expansion. It just means that there's more love. And Luna agrees. So because we're delivered what is meant for us, right? And to me, it's like I said, it's the amount that you can transmute everything that's happened in your life over the last few years is to the degree at which you get to create all of the miracles in your life and bring in everything that you desire. Because if we're not having those moments of rupture, that means that we're not growing, and that means we're in complacency. It actually means that we're dying because we're just stagnant. So when we're in that type of transformation, to me, I'm like, oh, heck yeah, I can't wait to talk to Heather soon, because I know what's coming. We know. Doesn't make it any easier. So thank you for sharing, my love. And you look absolutely beautiful. And thank you for being brave, coming in exactly as you are. All right. Anybody else want to share anything?
Heather, I just wanted to thank you for sharing and tell you that you are so not alone in your experience. I'm sort of experiencing something similar, where just there are so many shifts happening, and it's very uncomfortable and very scary and very unstructured. And I didn't plan to share, but something you said resonated so much. I thought that I would tell you that I had a similar experience, that, I have had a whirlwind of change in the past year and sort of finding out who I am. And I learned that I really want to find something more fulfilling to do with my life than what I was doing before. And I asked God to give me a way to move onto a path where I could help others, and give me a way to leave the structure of like my corporate job, which I've been in for many years now. Well, not now, because God gave me a way about a month ago, or not even. I received a notice from my company saying that they were laying off, and they offered me voluntary layoff. And it was very, very scary. And I'm still in the midst of not knowing where I'm going to go from here or what I'm going to do, but just trying to trust, because I almost got in my own way and didn't take the voluntary layoff, just to wait and see if they would just lay me off anyway. But my husband, my king, reminded me that I literally asked God for this. And just because it was presented in a way that I didn't expect, or that didn't seem comfortable, or was very scary, I shouldn't block my own blessings. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you for, your vulnerability and sharing. And I completely understand. And I have been working towards letting go of this false sense of control that I've tried to have throughout my life, ever since some childhood trauma that's really left my nervous system in a wreck my whole life, and something I'm working on. But my children have literally been screaming this entire meeting. They'll be very, very quiet and into their own things until I try to do anything, but I'm trying to let go of that sense that I can control anything and just do what I can do, which is still show up, still listen, and just kind of roll with the punches and see where it takes me, because I do know that these difficult times, they are times of rebirth, they are times of transition and growth. And I completely agree that when we avoid processing these times and sitting with them, we don't grow. So thank you for, inspiring me to share. And I want to send you so much love with all that you are going through right now. And I know that something great is on the other side for us all. So thank you.
Thank you, my love. See the power of courageously sharing exactly where we are, and how Heather's share sparked something in Jenny. This is why it's like, it's not the Lindsay show. This is a co-created experience. There's a reason why Heather got to share that then allowed Jenny to share. The chat's blowing up as well, right? Like, oh yes, this is it. And Jenny has an amazing healing and transformation journey that started with her health. So of course, once your body temple is clear, like all of the external begins to shift, and that's scary. I know that, right? So this is where my journey is very different than yours, Jenny. Yet my journey started with my health, and then it continued to evolve. And just when I think I figured out, it's like, oh, here we go again. And what I realized for me is the control is obviously rooted in fear. And a lot of the times it's the fear of our own power. It's our fear of, there's a lot in here that I get to be. And sometimes it's more comfortable to just stay hidden with the masses and just blend in. And so again, this is what it takes. Like, this is my mission, is continuing to just call forth all of us in our power, in our queendom, right? Being the queen of people's hearts. And I can't wait to see, what moves through you, Jenny. And I just love feeling, right, for you, Heather, there's very much like your connection with your intimacy, your love for people, right? That's what I'm truly feeling from you. Like, that's your gold. So of course you get to feel your feelings, and there's such a groundedness, grounded resonance with you, Jenny. And of course you're in chaos right now, right? Like, not chaos, but you're like, I just want to be able to listen to the dang thing and like have peace and quiet. So of course that's what you're given, is it doesn't matter. This is a microcosm of what's happening in the world: disruption, disorientation, chaos. So I love, again, like when I'm on private calls or group calls, like I remember telling Aileen, right? Like, okay, you may be going through something right now, but I feel coherence in your heart. That's the difference. You can be in it and still be in coherence. You can be in it and still be grounded. Doesn't mean you have all the answers. And this is when we start to be like, oh, it does feel different. Okay. And so I do also love, Jenny, that you express like, oh, wow, you literally got your ticket to freedom and you could have just waited it out. And instead you claimed it. And there's something to that. When we claim something for ourselves instead of waiting back, because, you probably may, if it was all part of the cosmic plan, you would have likely gotten laid off. But there's something to claiming it and actually creating the momentum for your life, for your highest potential, for what you actually came here to do and who you came here to be. So all of these things, showing up to things like this, showing up to yourself, even when your kids are around and you're like, oh my gosh, I just want peace and quiet, and just loving them through it and loving yourself through it. All of that is a reclamation of your sovereignty. And it shows the universe. Notice how I use all the words, because I call in literally all ends of the spectrum. It doesn't matter. You know, it's like, yeah, you were actually given this dangled carrot and you took it. And so you're going to continue to speed up what's meant for you, versus if you would have waited, it still would have happened, but it potentially would have happened a bit slower. So that's the power of the times that we're in, because most people are waiting. Right? Notice when COVID happened, right? Everybody was like, I just need a break. And then when they were home, they're like, I just want to go back to work. Because what happened? The world pretty much went into meditation, stillness, presence. So, oh, I'm just delighted. I'm very excited to see what you all continue to unfurl. All right, we have time for one more share. Brief share, and we'll wrap up. Yeah, normalize the chaos. And it's okay if you judge it. That's the thing. I'm like, oh gosh, I just judged that person. Dang it. Okay. Where am I judging myself? Where am I, pretending that I've got it all figured out? Okay. That's it. And in that, you transmute the judgment. Well, Wanda, you came off mute for a moment. Did you have one final share? Thank you for being patient.
I just want to say thank you for this, because I've received revelation that I have to learn to be okay with the chaos, because I'm a big controller myself. I try and keep everything, in a space in which it feels comfortable to me. A living space. Oh, well, you can't just leave dishes there overnight. No, you can't. It's like, why can't I be in comfort with chaos? That's a new concept for me that I'm trying to wrap my head around. So thank you.
Thank you, beautiful. Yeah, one of the things that I do, because I very much know that, in my house, we had a forbidden room. Like, it was there and nobody could sit in it. And I'm like, what's the point of this room if nobody can use it? Like, I was very confused, right? So you can see what I was modeled. And, what I do now is I'm like, oh, there was love there, right? Like, when there's dirty dishes, there was a meal, there was conversation, there was intimacy, right? Like, when there's a mess from something, I just think when I had the hurricane came in September of last year, I made a fort. And like, literally, I was having so much fun during the hurricane, because what else can you do when the power's out? And then the next day I was in full nervous system breakdown because my house was a mess. And I'm like, oh, and everything was a mess, right? Like, reality caught up to me. And I just kept being like, okay, there was love there. I played. I was in this storm, and I allowed myself to be. So thank you for sharing your heart, Wanda. And what happens when we start, it's an example of, like, let's say the kiddos or a spouse. My husband's new thing, he's very busy with work in a beautiful way. He's a new business owner. And so I'm doing my best to support him in the home. And he appreciates it, yet I feel like I don't have children yet. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm stepping into motherhood soon. I very much feel it. Motherhood is definitely in my destiny in this lifetime. And he's starting to unwrap things and like just put it where it's literally everywhere. Like, he takes off his pants and, like, shirt, and there it is on the floor. He opens a wrapper and there it's like, oh my gosh, it's 1 foot away from the trash. So I moved that energy on my own before talking to my husband about it. Because, right, there was control, there was judgment. Like, I didn't want to be in my wound when asking him to just like take a moment of presence. Because what it is that he really does have the time, right? But when he's in nervous system response, right? He's working all the time. He's learning a new trade. It's his first time in business. So, and I laughed about it and I'm like, wow, you're preparing me for motherhood, literally. And because my resonance was light and I'm like making it more about, hey, I'm doing the best I can. I'm also, right, I'm moving. So I'm moving to the mountains. I'm leaving Florida for the first time ever, both my husband and I. So I've grown roots here. And so there's a lot of that's happening for us, right? We're also in that. And it's an opportunity for me to play and be like, wow, this is what it's going to be like, huh? And with my husband, I can just say, hey, remember when I first left corporate and I was, like a hot mess for the first 6 months to a year because I was still in that corporate system, thinking that I was going to go out on the other side and have it all together. I'm noticing how your nervous system is just on autopilot and you're not stopping and you're not creating presence for yourself and you're not allowing yourself to be still. And I'm more concerned with your quality of life more than anything else. And I love you. And I want to reflect back to you what you reflected back to me when I was, going through those growing pains. And it was an immediate shift versus the old Lindsay who would have been like, I've taken out the trash 42 times this year. I would like count it. Maybe not to that degree, but do you feel the difference, right? Like, oh yeah, I am seeing that because there's a part of me that also gets out of presence, that also rushes through life, that also doesn't want to take the time to put the cart away at the grocery store or to do the dishes right away. But yet we can scroll social media for 4 hours. If that feels like, oh, that's me, great, it's me too. It's all of us. So it's just about practice. And honestly, the revelation, Wanda, and then we'll wrap up, is the first piece. It's the first piece. It makes no sense, but the allowance of it is actually where you create the pause for the miracle to emerge. And watch the people around you shift as you start to embody this new revelation. Just practice. Practice seeing the dishes and then like feeling that and allowing it, accepting it, and loving the person who put the dishes and having compassion, and notice how they actually won't do that to that degree. It'll start to shift. It's amazing because people feel you beyond words. This is true intimacy. This is true connection, right? Being able to have a conversation with an open heart, and it doesn't mean that we're not honest. So feel the difference. You can be honest and say, hey, this isn't working for me. And I love you. This is about our sacred space, our sacred home. This is about you. This is about me. This is about all of us thriving. Do you feel the difference in that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And again, it takes practice. So I'm actually going to drop in an opportunity to book a 30-minute session with me if you want to go deeper. I used to make these calls free, and now they're $22. And the reason why I do that, because $22, anybody can drop $22 on transformation, yet it's the same piece. The universe doesn't know the difference between if you drop $22 or $22,000 on yourself. It's the same. If you donate $1, if you donate something from the heart that's meaningful to you, if you give your sacred service, if you give your sacred time, the universe does not know the difference between that or donating billions. I promise you, it's an energy exchange. It's a resonance. So there's something with claiming that for yourself by saying, you know what, this is how I'm going to up level. So I'll drop this in here. There's a zillion ways to get in touch with me. I'm in so much flux with my level of service too. But I do have group and private containers, and, you know, if that's not for you, that's okay. There's a million tools. All that I ask is that you continue to ask yourself, what is it that I need? Right? Am I making this decision from my body, or am I making this decision from fear? Right? As Jenny expressed, right? We all, in April, we all have self-sabotage. It's there as a safety mechanism. Yet it was created during a time that we needed it, and we don't need that anymore. So what these sessions do is it helps you, right? Like for April, her and I are connecting next month already, but this is about, right? Like, I want clarity. Great. We get into your body, we get into your heart center, we get the clarity, and then it's up to you to take the action, whether it's by yourself, with another mentor, whatever it is. You've got to then say yes by taking the action. So surrender is not like, okay, actually, Jenny modeled it perfectly. Active surrender, voluntary, right? Okay, I'm going to choose to leave corporate versus I'm just going to sit back and wait and see what happens. That's submission. Active surrender also means, like with Heather, sitting in the stillness. That is active surrender. Pausing is active surrender. So you can reach out. You all know the zillions of ways to get in touch with me. I've got lots of fun stuff emerging, and I will be fully transparent. I'm moving. I don't even know where I'm ending up. And yet Spirit keeps being like, this is how you're going to evolve your business, and it's all going to happen at the same time. And right, like moving me out of self-sabotage. Like I actually can be in transition and still serve and still honor my body, because I've spent years creating the spaciousness to allow for this. I've actually asked for this. So self-sabotage would be me saying, I'm going to put everything on hold until I move. That's my journey. That's not everybody's journey. Or you may just be like 2 steps behind that aspect of your journey. So if I'm asking for, I want it all, and I get to expand, and I get to live where I want to live, and I get to serve in this way, and I get to feel so good doing it, then I get to figure that out. So with that, let's just continue being a queen of people's hearts. And I would love to have you all put in the chat just a word that you're leaving us all with. You came in with curiosity, the desire to ground, the desire to connect. Hopeful. Love that. Grateful. Gratitude. Beingness. I love it. Peaceful. Beautiful. Solidarity. Yes. We are all individuated expressions of God, in my humble opinion. So we're really not separate at all. Yet we're unique in our own way, which is such a gift. All right, my lovies, come off mute, say your see you soons, and I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation with you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You
It's wonderful.
I love you.
Love you too.
Love
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, beauties. Much love.